Okay.
Good morning, Australia.
And good afternoon, Texas.
Welcome to Iridology Around the World. It's us again.
We've got a great person for you to meet today. Can't wait.
We do. And when we say around the world, we mean around the world. I'm just going to give you a little hint. Well, she ain't from around here, but she is in Scotland. And I don't know a lot about Scotland. Chris, do you know a lot about Scotland?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I love Scotland. I love Scottish whiskey.
Oh, really? Well, you know what? The only thing
good.
I know about Scotland is that my ex-husband owns the Celtics. He's a part owner of the Celtics football club.
Well, I actually went to see the Celtics last year.
There he is.
I love it.
Don't I wish? Just don't I wish.
I was just thinking about, is that a husband I haven't heard about?
That was him. I keep his picture all around. You know, there was a song, he even wrote it about me. You know, he talks about a big bosom lady with a Dutch accent. Well, he means to say with a Texas accent. And that was me he was talking about. You're in my heart, you're in my soul. What can I say? What can I say? Awesome. I love that man. Yep. Are you ready? I'm excited to bring our guest on.
Me, very well. Yeah.
Hey, Carolyn.
I'm sorry about the shininess of my head.
Well, you know what? You need a ball cap. Here,
okay.
There you go.
Oh, cool. All right. Thank you for that. That's cool.
I tell you what.
It's not so shiny now.
When we can reach across other continents, I tell you what, man, we got a good thing going. A good thing going. Well, let's call Carolyn. Come on down. Look, it's Carolyn Aiken from Scotland.
Did I say it correctly?
So lovely to see you both.
You too.
Yes, you too. We're so happy to have you.
And good evening in Scotland. It's almost bedtime.
Yep.
It's 10:20. Yes.
Yep.
Well, you need a nice Scottish oat cake and a whiskey after this.
I don't like whiskey, but yeah, why not?
How about a nice Scottish coffee or tea?
Yeah. Oh, there's lots of food. There's lots of produce in Scotland.
Oh, you know what? He and I are going to come visit you someday.
Yes.
We're just going to come over.
I love Scotland.
Yeah. Awesome. I've never been. I'm going. Well, thank you for being one of our guests. And literally, this episode or this little broadcast that we've put together is to really reach out across the world to unite iridologists and bring our IPA family close together, or bring other iridologists close together. And we are really, really grateful for you joining us. And I know it's your bedtime, so we're not going to keep you too long. But we've got some questions we want to ask you, just because we're nosy people.
Yeah.
You know what I like to imagine you in Texas and Chris in Australia, and bubbles pulsating bigger and bigger and bigger and getting to me in the middle.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I think it's wonderful that it's morning here, really early morning, night. You're almost going to bed and you're in the afternoon. It's just fascinating that we can do this.
It is. It's a great thing that we can do.
Yes. Carolyn, how long have you been an iridologist?
Well, I am an optician. I am going to be 50 years old next Sunday. And I think I was 18 or 19 when I started studying for optician. I studied in Europe, in Brussels, and worked in France. And one of the topics back then was iridology. So I didn't practice iridology as such, but I was very interested, and I always had a book somewhere in the house with me. So I'm only a certified iridologist in Scotland for the last 3 years. Only started doing it because colleagues of mine who were sick wanted to have a little bit more information, and I started analyzing the eyes, and they found that it was very, very accurate. So one of them, the optometrist, the owner of the shop where I work, and she suggested I should do it professionally, that I go and certify. So I did. I studied,
Wow.
and I started doing that just before the pandemic. And then the pandemic hit and I started working remotely. It seemed to work fine. People were interested remotely as long as we got a very clear picture, very, very accurate picture, very sharp that we can see the fibers. I could work. So yeah, I love it. It's very accurate. I feel like I'm helping people, so I'm more than happy to see people through iridology as well.
Yeah, great.
Awesome. I could listen to her accent all day, hey?
I could too. And, you know, she's told us that it's a mixture of different accents, but I don't care. I love it. I love it. So Carolyn, who or what inspired you to get into iridology? Was there anything or anyone that, or something that just clicked and you said, oh, I've got to do iridology?
Yes. So first of all, I'll explain a little bit as an optician. Back when I was studying, I was working in a very big shop, and we had a patient in for an eyesight test who came from Morocco. So it was a mom and a son, and the son didn't want to be seen by a man, the owner of the shop, because in their traditional ways and their culture, they need to be seen by a woman. So the woman wanted a woman. I was there studying, but the optometrist asked me if I could please do the eye test there and then. It was kind of a miracle because this lady had lost her glasses ages ago. I can't remember how long, maybe month ago, but she was very short-sighted. So I don't know, Kathy, what you're wearing, if you're wearing -3, -4, what you're wearing, but this lady had -17.
Wow.
So pretty much blind. Okay, she could see just colors, blobs, not much. But I felt I felt quite sad at the time to learn that she had such a big correction and nobody was really interested in their family to get her through until the son brought her. So I felt like I had to help her, and I'm going to do everything to get her glasses as quickly as possible. And that correction can be obviously too thick, massive inside of the frames. So I'm like, we need to do something. And I found, I said to the optician, I'm going to phone the lab and ask them what they can do. And they do something quite spectacular. And it's a very thin lens, and in the middle it has a little circle with the correction. The little circle just has the size of the iris, so just very small, but it means that the lens is quite thin inside of the frame and just a correction in the middle. So people have to just look, to see well, just very close up. We did the glasses. She came to collect, and I will never forget. This is so long ago, but she hugged me forever, and she was crying and crying, and I just could not believe it. I'm like, we helped someone in this way, to see again. And that just made me decide, obviously, I'm going to be an optician forever. I will never forget that. Just to put back sight to someone who didn't have, or who just lost the glasses, or, it's just, it's terrible. And then the kids, I love doing that for the kids. When they put it on, they were like, wow, their expressions are amazing. I will never forget that. Yep, when I just started and we were just placing the glasses on the kids, it's just spectacular. So that went throughout my life, but sometimes people have, what inspired me, I think, is more to do with preventative measures. When people come into the shop, as I'm an optician, they come in, is when something has manifested itself, when something has been there, when an illness is already there, and we try to sort it with surgery or medicine. Whereas iridology, it has to do with prevention, and there's so many things that could have been prevented. Each time I look at the people, I'm like, oh my God, you could have done a better job with your life. But again, saying that, there's not something that you can impose on someone. It's not, you can't heal someone unless the people come to you to heal. And that I learned after many wrongdoings and tribulations, let's say, trying to impose that, trying to ask people to heal, or telling them, I can help you, I can do this and that. But unless the person has made the first step to go and get healed, there is no way you can help them. You can provide the best iridology analysis you want, they will not take heed. They will not listen. They will not, you know, do the next steps to heal. They have to be themselves going to you and trying to get help. So that's kind of my story, but I also help people around me, moms I know and colleagues, try to get them into better nutrition if I see something in there. I'm myself very healthy, hopefully. I'm trying. And once I discovered that I've got that pancreatic structure, that I've got sugar imbalances, I started doing a little bit research inside of my family. And yes, there has been always a little bit of, not diabetic as such, but lots of sugar imbalances in the family. So I'm hoping that if I carry on with a good diet and I don't pass it on, it will kind of dissipate and not pass on to the next generations, and people will be diabetes free, at least in my descendants.
Right.
And that's my hope. I wanted to show you something, because when you come to an optician, we can see diabetes really quickly as soon as you take a picture. I don't know if you can see it there.
Yes.
It's like an explosion of
Yes.
little vessels at the back of the eye, right?
Right, right.
So when you have someone like that already, it's kind of too late. But they can change a little bit the diet, but
Yes.
things can be done before that, way before that reaches that stage.
Totally.
And it's always that what gets me, like, oh my God, you could have done a better job. Yeah.
Well, you're in a real good place where you can demand someone's attention, but it's true, like you said, they're not going to heed your advice until they're ready.
Yeah.
Right.
And with the pancreatic, anyone with a pancreatic constitution or any pancreatic signs, what I love to say to them is, make sure you surround yourself with love. Like, do things that you love, because the pancreas responds to love. So as long as you do things you love, you surround yourself with people that you love, and also watch your nutrition, you probably will never have to have anything like diabetes. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. So
And
Chris,
it looks like you do what you love, which is great.
yeah, that is important. Chris, don't we have another question for Carolyn?
We do. Carolyn, what is your favorite iris sign?
Yes, it is the colorette, so the autonomic nerve ring. I think it's an amazing landmark, and I loved Ellen's webinar that she did recently, because of course she's lovely explaining everything, but everything is so perfect when she explains, and you can see it straight away. It's a landmark that you can straight away already have an idea of what person you have in front of you. So yes, I would say the colorette. Mine is square, really square. There's no doubt. It's not just a little bit jagged, it's totally square, which is amazing. I don't know if all my sisters and brother have it like that. I think we're all a bit different, but certainly mine is, and I ate sugar my whole life. I lived in South America. There's something really famous that we eat all the time that's called dulce de leche. It's like a caramel, it's made from milk and sugar, lots of sugar. And we put that on everything, every pastry, every cake, everything has it. So I ate that almost my whole life, throughout when I was small and later. So it makes sense that will obviously be one of my strengths, because I was always attracted to sugar. Very, very, how do you say, very, not nervous as such, well, probably nervous as well, but very active, and always a kid that was always jumping. I must have been so annoying for my parents, always jumping, always moving, always interrupting, always.
It was all that sugar.
All that sugar. I cannot believe it. I mean, how on earth did they do that? Our parents back then had probably no idea. It was something that was done at home, but my mom would give me a spoon of sugar. I was a bit there. I was just like, oh, I'd like something to eat. Oh, just get sugar, just a spoon of white sugar. Terrible, isn't it?
That happens. That's the reason we call sugar nature's first narcotic, because we're all given that as a child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even have one. We don't have sugar at home.
Right.
And my son is
Good.
definitely not brought up that way.
Right.
At all.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful.
That is great. That's great.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
I,
So
I've got 2 children with the square collarette as well.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I can see
So
again.
it's a great landmark.
yeah. Well, that I like that. I love using that expression though too, using the collarette as a landmark, because that's exactly what it is. And you see so many things off of that collarette that it just it's beautiful for exposure. It's, you know, Dr. Larito is the one that basically showed me that you can just take the collarette. You don't have to look at the rest of the iris, but you get so much information from the collarette alone. And then when you uncover the rest of the iris, there's the rest of the story. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I know. You can already tell so much. And the emotional side as well, you know, the personality type as well. You can tell so much from that. And you don't need much. I mean, as an optician, I can see the eye quite clearly. So I don't need to go and see every lacuna, every fiber. Just the collarette just tells me what person I have in front of me, if I need to be cautious of what I say, or, you know, a little bit, and the type of person I've got.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's really
That is
interesting.
awesome. So Carolyn, we play a little game. It's a question and answer game. Inquiring minds, they want to know. So we will ask you to pick a number between 1 and 36 off of our world chart, and we'll read that to you, and we'll answer it. So if you'll pick a number between 1 and 36.
It's number 7. That's because my son is 7 just now.
Okay. All right. So, well, this has to do with behavioral iridology. Okay, so it says, I am a divorced mom of 2 boys. My firstborn son is very caring and loving towards me, but my second son is harsh and says nasty things to me and his brother. He seems so angry. Why would my son be so different from his brother? Why can't he act like his older brother? So this is really birth order.
It's birth order.
It is birth order. It's not behavioral. It's birth order. So that's interesting. Carolyn, do you have a thought on that?
Yes. So the first child, well, I've only got one, but it does. I think children are so different, one to the other. But the first one definitely is attached to the mom. Is very sensitive. Will always be interested in things that are a little bit more sensitive. Like my son likes to be outdoors, it plants, planting a little seed and stuff. And I think sometimes families, when they plan a boy, they imagine this boy that is boisterous, that is going to play football and stuff, and they get really disappointed they don't get that boy. But the first one is not like that. The first one is a sensitive one. They need to have more boys later on if they want that one. So the second one definitely will be probably that type of boy, like boisterous and a little bit jealous probably as well, you know, and be a different type of person. I'm sure you both know a lot more about the personality of the second boy.
I think that's very correct.
Yeah,
I think you're spot on with that.
So I just, the first thing I'll say to this mother is don't compare them, because they're completely different. I mean, one's yin and one's yang. The firstborn boy is often comes from the mother's side of the family, and they're often more yin, and that's possibly why he's more loving towards her and her ancestry maybe. But the second boy is very fiery, is very yang. So what we need to do is teach him how to contain his fire. And I'm not sure of the rest of the situation with this question, but possibly if she's a divorced, they're separated. I mean, you know, if possible, this boy should have a relationship with his dad, and a very calm relationship with his dad, because his dad needs to teach him how to contain his fire. So it's really difficult for the mum to do that. They're going to just bash heads, and especially if she's comparing them, because he can't be like his older brother. Like he just comes from a different world almost. So yeah, I'd suggest that this woman learn a little bit more about the yin and yang and how to bring the best out of each child.
Right. You know, I've seen situations like this before, and I've always suggested that the mom finds a good, if the father is not around and not able to be around, to find another man, a good man, an uncle, a grandfather, even a caring neighbor that can come over and help deal with that boy's fire, because he's got anger, he's got to get it out. And so I encourage mothers to do things with their second sons, to find a gentleman friend that can come kick a soccer ball or throw a baseball with this little fella, or take him for a run, you know, and just maybe have some one-on-one man time with him, and help encourage a softer behavior.
So Kathy, with this boy, I really think that martial arts would be really good for him, because it's structured. They have rules. They learn to use their fire. They can use swords, or depending on what sort of martial arts they want to do, they can use their hands. But they're basically teaching this boy to be active, to use his fire, but in a very contained way. And that's what a true boy needs.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes, perfect.
Well, I think this has been a great session. I've loved this episode. What do you all think?
Yeah. It's amazing. I'm so happy I finally got to talk to you, because we always do things virtually or on emails or chats, and I'm like, you've never heard me. You have no idea what I sound like, what I look like, really, even though we know each other for years probably. So this is a great opportunity. I love it that we can connect the whole world. I want to see every single episode. I want you to get all the iridologists we know, all of them on it.
Excellent.
We will.
We will.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we will.
And we'll get your help to help us meet lots of new, more Scottish iridologists.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Carolyn, we can't thank you enough. We really appreciate this. We appreciate the time. We know it's almost bedtime. It's almost 11 o'clock. But you've got to get your sleep so that you can be on top of your game tomorrow. So we thank you. I'm just going to say good night from Texas.
And good night, and good morning, and good night from Australia.
Yay.
Thank you.
Have a good day, guys.
Okay. Thank you.
Good night.